Hello and welcome to the Claret and Blue podcast for the second time today. Our Wolves Fan Zone preview show went out this morning, but we're back here today with John Townley to talk about Villa Park, atmosphere and the 1897 group, who I'm hesitant to call it a singing section because I don't think that's the right phrase for it at all. But Aston Villa have worked with the 1897 group to give them a section of the stadium for like-minded fans to be a kind of hotbed of atmosphere, right? Go and make it happen. We did see an example of this. I don't know whether it was last season or the year before. The Bournemouth home game when they were seated above the away end, and you saw flags up there, and people moved their season ticket seats to that empty section, right? Because we know that Bournemouth wouldn't have brought many fans, and that went well from memory. Do you remember that one?
I remember the colour. I remember hearing noise as well. The press boxes opposite the away fans. So I do have a vivid memory of it. Just from the top, if people aren't aware what this is. So 1897 group, I'd like to think that most people know who they are now. If you don't, they are a group of fans who are essentially, their mission is to make the atmosphere inside Villa Park better, which I think we can all agree is needed.
Yeah. We spoke about this a lot over the last few weeks, haven't we?
Yeah, more power to them and what they're trying to do. How that looks, let's find out. And this is part of it, right? So firstly, I think it's really important, really important that the club continue to work with the 1897 group or whoever thinks that they can mobilise as such to create a better atmosphere in Villa Park. And as I say, how that looks, that's essentially up to the club, I guess. But we need this, I think. So it's encouraging that or at least the club are trying to work with the group to make it happen.
Yeah, and the 1897 group, or you'll see them on social media, whether that's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you follow them. They've tried initiatives in the past, and we spoke before about the scarves and all that kind of stuff, and it's hard to get that off the ground. You do need support from the club to help push that messaging as well. So if this is them, the club saying, right here, we're going to give you a section to try and make a difference, and that for me is the start of this. What I would say off the bat, just want to kind of clarify very early that this is not displacing any other season ticket holders from their current seat or anything like that, or any other match day fans. All of the tickets available in this section are taken up by 1897 group members only already, and they're already season ticket holders, so they haven't jumped the queue to get a match ticket or anything like that. They're there anyway. But they're all spread across the stadium, right? So if there's 100 people in the group, yeah, they can do their bit in their seat, but getting all those 100 people, like-minded people, to sit together should have some kind of impact. And we only will know if this works or fails if we give it a go. And we've got to the point where the club and a group needs to kind of work together to give it a go.
Yeah, and I think it's needed as well. It's like there's only so many times or so many podcasts, and I'm sure a lot of people talk about it in down the pub with their mates or whatever. The atmosphere at Villa Park, like what's happened? Is it a modern thing now where all of the Premier League grounds are like this as well? But I just think it's been quite a quick switch, in my opinion, and I don't know exactly why. I think there's obviously different reasons. I don't know if some sort of expectancy has crept in that we think that we can just win games, or it's ticket prices and it's a different sort of clientele as such that are coming to Villa Park. I don't know. There's lots of different reasons for it, but how do we fix it? I think we need to be proactive to fix it. I don't think we can just sit back and wait for hopefully those people over there start to bring up an atmosphere without that being a group of people who know that that's their, not job, but that's what they're there to do. So if you see 1897 groups, so the first game would be, the West Ham game, I think they're trying to be in the Holt 4, and the North Stand lower is where they're going to be designated for the matches, right, Dan? I think that was correct. But yeah, I think it's important to try and have this. We obviously know Crystal Palace have over Holmesdale Fanatics, is that it?
Holmesdale, yeah.
Yeah, Arsenal have their own set of supporters as well. I don't know what they're called. And some people will think, that's cringe, what they're doing. Anything for me that boosts an atmosphere, I say anything. Anything legal that boosts an atmosphere that can, as you said, Dan, it kind of inspire others and make others feel like I could probably join in here. I think sometimes you need to not necessarily artificially do it, but in some sections of the crowd, I think we're at a point where, well, if we're going to make an atmosphere, we're going to have to do something to get an atmosphere there. Rather than just sit back and hope that it happens at some point. It's not, the Trinity is not the North Stand. The Holt end.
I just want to kind of read a few bullet points that I've got here to kind of just share the information for those maybe on social media. So at the moment, the club has reserved 50 seats in the lower north, I think it's R7 is the block, for members of the 1897 group who are already, as I say, season ticket holders and regular match-going fans. They haven't jumped any kind of queues here, and no fans from that area are being displaced. I think it's the Corner Flag restaurant where that used to be, and there's hospitality tickets based off the back of that, and so there is space there, right? Those tickets would have been maybe sold on a match by match ticket basis, whereas the 1897 group now can all band together and their season ticket seats will be sold on a match by match basis. So the club will, it'll still be a sellout. It's been treated as a pilot scheme is what I've got here, so it's not open to just any season ticket holder at the moment. I think the plan will probably be to join the 1897 group, right? Register your interest with them to become like a member.
If this is successful, yeah.
If it's successful, yeah. And this is a 50-seat trial or a 75-seat or 100 or whatever it becomes over the next few weeks. That if then, 1,000 people go, you know what, that's brilliant. That's me. I want to be a part of that. Well, you register your interest with the group, and then the group can go back to the club and say, look, we got 1,000 people here who are willing to do the same. Like, we want the lower north in its entirety, or whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
And that's how these things develop over time, right? So the group have been given permission to bring flags and banners and you actually use them, which is good. That's what that area is for. There are no current plans for a drum, is what I have here, which is a big 50-50 debate amongst fans. Are you pro or anti-drum, John?
It depends how loud that drum is. I think is what I was saying. I'm not against anything that makes an atmosphere or encourages an atmosphere. Some drums can be a bit overbearing though, so
It's
maybe
constant,
just
like the European ones.
Maybe just maracas or something.
God, maracas. 50 seats in block R7 are due to the closure of the restaurant that inhabited that corner, and the GA plus hospitality seats that go with it for packages becoming available. So yeah, that's where the seats are from, if you like. The supporter liaison team have approached members of the FAB and 1897 and agreed to give this section for the final 5 league games. So that's where we're at the moment. It won't be Europa League as of right this second for whatever reason, and it is kind of treated as a bit of a trial. So we all want this to do well, right? If you're a Villa fan who goes to Villa Park and thinks the atmosphere is not great, if this helps it, I'm all for it.
The fact that the club are helping is really important, and I think it needed that as well. The 1897 group's been around for a little bit of time now, but there's only so much you can do without an opportunity, essentially. And so they've had a couple of them before, but I always felt that when, for example, that Bournemouth match, when they were given that one, I felt, well, that's great, but where's the next one? What's next? Where does this go? What if it's amazing? What happens after that? Like, they get another one at some point, and then at some point again, like, there has to be a fixed location for this. Where that is and how that works, as I said from the top of the podcast, I don't know moving forward. If they can have a location like the lower north, a part of that where hospitality was, then that's a start. And I don't know how many fans you are possibly going to be able to fit into this group in a section without it interrupting essentially someone else's experience who doesn't want to be a part of it. Like, if my mum had a season ticket, I don't know, maybe she would be for actually, I don't know.
In R6, go, bloody hell, let's get that drum out of here.
Yeah. Every other Saturday, just let your hair down, go for it. But obviously you don't want to be forced into that. So I think the key thing is they have an area, and that area can expand, essentially, that when you go to a game, you expect noise there. Whenever I'm at Arsenal and the press box is within the fans, which is the same as a lot of stadiums, but specifically they always stand up in front of you, and the fans to my right every single time, because whoever stands up probably is match by match like fans, so they don't have a season ticket, but the fans to my right who do are always there. They're always having a go at them, saying, sit down, steward, tell them to sit down, all that sort of thing. And it's like, this doesn't quite work. Like, they're trying to create an atmosphere, but then they feel like it's overbearing as such. So finding the right location is really important. I'm happy that it's had lift off and that they can have a crack at it, because it's needed, and this needs to be with the kind of potential of being a fixed thing moving forward, because you've got the whole end fantastic where I'm in the press box, which is more towards north stand, located in Trinity, towards the north. It is quiet, and if I hear people chanting, you're like, great, but at the same time it's almost like it goes nowhere. It doesn't travel in the Trinity, it doesn't travel across to Doug Ellis or anything. So I think you need to almost artificially make something to then hope it bleeds out as such. So hopefully it can be a success.
You need buy-in from fellow fans and from the club as well. If this does become a thing where there's a couple of hundred people there in a little section and there's loads of flags and colour and it's this little nice contained little block, that's great. But when the next season ticket renewal comes up, if you're a like-minded fan who also wants to be near that, and that's the area to go, right? And that area gets bigger organically rather than forced into this little area. So the other side of it as well is it's the club side as well, right? We spoke about the scarves over the last couple of games where I thought it was for the wrong game. And I know it's for Leeds. Wasn't loads of them at Leeds either, and we helped push that a little bit. We spoke about it on the podcast. It's on social media, and see posts get a couple of hundred retweets, and people say, "Oh, this is brilliant, great idea." Comes to match day, and it's been and gone now, and they're trying to do other things. And I've spoken to some of the people, and there's not a dig at all. It doesn't really work, but you need the club to do more as well. When the club do their kind of match preview stuff on the website, why is there not a little section that says, we're helping support this initiative, bring your scarves, let's get Villa Park packed with colour. It's a two-way street as well. The club have got to do more, and this is the start of them trying to do more.
Yeah, precisely. It needs people like the 1897 group to be the ones to take the step forward. Like us on the podcast, we said the atmosphere needs to be better. They're the ones who are doing it. So, again, more power. Fair play. Absolutely. And I know that different things last season, be it TIFOs or displays, they do work very hard. You've got different things like the remembrance display as well, which was brilliant. So, the club are paying more attention to it. They can only do so much, though. They need help from a greater power as such, which is the club. And you say a lot of people won't know about certain things that A97 group have done, and that's okay. Again, that's not on them. It needs to be shared far and wide, and that's why we try and help on the podcast where we can, or on the Birmingham Mail or whatnot. I don't know whether it's leaflets or posters around Villa Park.
Maybe.
Scan this QR code to get involved with the 897 group if you want, or to see what they're planning for the next games or whatever it may be. Donate money, because that'll be a thing as well. How can we help crowdfund certain displays? How can we crowdfund flags or whatever it may be, or just bits to help A97 group promote? And they are speaking to them previously as well. They did say they want to help in the community and all these different things as well. So it's not just we want to turn up and shout about Villa and go home. It's more of a wider thing that they're trying to do, and it's quite a big operation. And how many times have we said if the atmosphere is better at Villa Park, the results are probably better as well? And it's mad because we've been so good at home. But we know that when Villa Park is bouncing and rocking, we've got a great chance of winning the game because the players feel it. Unai feels it. The club, they know it. I know that, club officials, when the TIFO of Palace came up and ours, which was just a used TIFO from a Champions League game earlier in this season, what the hell's going on there? It's, this needs to be better. So I'm glad that they're taking a step in the right direction.
You mentioned kind of needing help from a higher power of the club. The club want to do more. The footballing department recognise that this is something that has to be improved, the atmosphere. How often does Unai Emery talk about the fans, full stop, in press conferences and interviews? Pretty much every one. There's been programme notes. There's been all sorts of discussion about we know how important Villa Park is, and that's Unai, it's Damian, it's everybody involved in that group of the people that get the players ready to go out on the pitch, recognise that the atmosphere at Villa Park needs to be good because it is a two-way street. If they're calling for Villa Park, we need help, and this is a way of helping it, I don't know how anyone can poo-poo it as it's a bit cringe, so they're there with their flags and their drums. The players and the staff want it, and whatever that looks like remains to be seen, right? Is it drums, is it maracas? Who knows? But if it helps the atmosphere and Villa win games, that's sound. That's all we want.
As a concept, I don't think anyone can knock it. I really don't. The only thing that we were, and it kind of remains to be seen a little bit, I guess, in terms of long term. But the one thing is, again, that I questioned at the start was, well, where are they going to be housed long term? Because this needs to be a fixed thing that any given match, the 897 group or whatever that looks like, they're going to be over there and they're going to be making noise, which will reverberate through Doug Ellis or Trinity or whatever it may be, or just the north, and you've got the Holt and the north and the middle of the Doug Ellis Trinity. Like, we can make a noise, when needed. But you've got two stands who will hopefully be loud and proud. We want to make Villa Park atmosphere better. We're all in that together. And I think, again, we've actually got to a point where it probably just it needs a nudge. It needs a help somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think that's all we can ask for.
Right, okay, that's it for this little bonus podcast. Kind of a bit of a newsy one to spread the news, I guess, for those that maybe aren't on social media, I suppose, as importantly as anything. I'll add in some resources in the description to GoFundMe pages or websites or social media or whatever it is to go and find out some more about the 1897 group.
I want to see it work when we're losing, when things aren't going up. I think that's been a really important thing because we've got big games coming up. But I know for a fact if Chelsea go 1-0 up against us, there's going to be moans and there's going to be groans. And that's understandable. I'll be doing the same in the press box. But we also need a group of fans to be a positive influence. And again, that does come from the whole, when we win a corner, it's this, and it's a big roar. But games against Everton, Brentford, for whatever reason, it felt like almost, be it nervousness, it's tense, something didn't quite feel right, and it felt like, we all know what happens next. Whereas ideally, you want someone to sort of take the lead and being that influence to be positive again. So yeah, it's
on us to kind of band together and literally get the band together, right? Drum, maracas,
trombone,
get it all there.
That Liverpool game is going to be crazy.
John, thanks for joining me. Thank you for watching or listening, and we'll see you tomorrow night. That'll be the last podcast now, I swear, unless something happens in the embargo section of the presser, till the post-match show tomorrow night. See you later.